When I'm not being a good little boy, I'm thinking about Paper Mario for the Nintendo 64. It may not be as beloved as its sequel, but for my money, it's just as enjoyable. I know I ragged on Dream Team for having Bowser be the main antagonist again, but funny enough, this was the only Mario RPG prior to Dream Team where Bowser was actually the main antagonist. The previous Mario RPG title, he was a supporting character, but Super Mario RPG is also a much different game, unlike these two, and with far more original ideas, such as the badge system, and partners. We love partners, right? However, when I go back to it, I can't help but miss several gameplay features that were added to the Thousand Year Door. The sequel definitely takes the cake in terms of story and writing. In terms of exploration, I'd say both are even. However, the sequel is superior when it comes to battle mechanics. It's basically the same gameplay, with just more. If Nintendo ever remade the first game, these next 3 additions that were added to TTYD would be my top inclusions. The first game had a level cap of 27, which limited how many badges you can have equipped. Some hardcore Paper Mario 64 fans might like this limitation because it might encourage more pre-battle strategizing, and because the sequel allows you to pretty much run away with badge setup, where you can basically have all the badges in the world put on your Mario. But because the first game lacks a post-game, you don't really see that harsh 30 BP cap until the very end of the game anyway. TTYD's level cap is 99. When a partner got hurt in the first game, they would be out of commission for a few turns. Attacks often rarely hit the partner. This is mostly a boss battle related thing. I played the Thousand Year Door before I played the first game, and I remember being really confused when I saw a lack of HP on my partners. This next one seems really trivial, but partners not being able to use items in the first game put a lot of pressure on Mario's turn. He had to do any and all of the healing. This was something I took for granted when I played 64 after TTYD. In my ugly opinion, these 3 inclusions could make the first game as fun to go back to as the second for most players. But a few months ago, I discovered my favorite game-enhancing mod ever, Paper Mario TTYD 64, made by Eldexer, who also made the Paper Mario Black Pit mod, another great ROM hack. However, PM TTYD 64 is not a new game built from the original's engine like Black Pit. Instead, it's the original with everything I could ever want out of a PM remake and more. As the name suggests, this mod adds features found in the sequel to the first game: partner HP, partners using items in battle, 60 new badges from TTYD, 50 new items from TTYD, 35 new star pieces. However, the overall star piece count is smaller now, which in my opinion is a welcome change since the original had a very bloated 160 star pieces, 30 shine sprites to collect, which now replace the ultra blocks, so now you gotta take them to Merlin for partner upgrades like the sequel. This doesn't seem like an enhancement. In fact, it was more convenient to just enhance partners upon encountering one of these ultra blocks, instead of taking 3 shine sprites back to Merlin. But it is TTYD 64, so for consistency, I understand. All TTYD recipes are here. There's new secret areas and minigames, like at the very beginning, straight up whack-a-mole in the tutorial area. Also, you have action commands from the start. There's a few new game modes, and while I haven't tried them all, Eldexer clearly had every type of player in mind. There's also some little changes that you might not have even thought of, like enemies having their own items in the sequel. This, I didn't even realize was missing from the first game. But you want to hear the sickest new features? Take a guess. Is it A, stylish commands, B, super guards, or C, a pit of 100 trials? Can't guess? Well, it's actually D. Fuck it, all of them. The timing for super guards and stylish is not exactly the same as it once was, but how bizarre is this? How are you not playing this game right now? I'm coming over. Look at this new market area. Look at this fat Goomba from Bowser's Inside Story. Look at my boy. Listen when I tell you that this is the definitive way to play Paper Mario 64. I haven't even finished it yet, and I still can't see myself ever going back to the original. The different modes are really cool, but what's even cooler is the fact that there is a difficulty setting now, like at all. Now, I don't know if hard mode in this game is as hard as other notable Paper Mario difficulty mods, but I'd imagine this hard difficulty is a little more fair since the other ones treat every fight like a puzzle where there's only one way out, and this one feels a lot more natural. I've been playing the game on the second hardest difficulty since the original game is fairly easy anyway, and it's been a blast. It's kind of crazy to think the only time a Mario RPG has ever had any sort of difficulty option whatsoever was the challenge medal in Bowser's Inside Story, that accessory piece you get by getting a high score on the green shell minigame in the challenge node.
Oh yeah, and double pain badge.
Kind of reminds me of Black and White 2 and that very bizarre key system, that being the only way to change the difficulty of that game. There is also a built-in randomizer, which is pretty convenient. I don't know how this compares to the official or unofficial Paper Mario randomizer, but it's really cool that there's more options now. It seems that a lot of features from other notable Paper Mario hacks were included in some way, shape, or form into this one mod. It gives you a little taste of everything. Another new inclusion that most people will be able to identify is the new music, or rather familiar music, since it's the entire Thousand Year Door soundtrack remade in the Paper Mario 64 sound font. I'm gonna be honest, I don't like a lot of these. I'm sorry, I do appreciate the effort, but thankfully you can actually turn off the songs when you get to Toad Town for the first time and revert back to the original soundtrack, which is already a fantastic soundtrack. It sometimes infuriates me that Nintendo will do the bare minimum for a certain game or series. Meanwhile, modders can create amazing fan projects with usually only a handful of people working on them. The Mario 3D All-Stars collection comes to mind, and how they did the bare minimum, whereas fans already made a PC port and an HD port and tons of other crazy mods for 64, whereas Nintendo, well, yeah, did the bare minimum. It's crazy to think that in just a year we've gotten news that all 3 Mario RPGs are returning and or alive. I mean, the Paper Mario series never really died, but the fact that Super Mario RPG and Mario and Luigi basically had zero or little chance of a future, the news that we were getting all 3 just meant the world to some of us. Because we got a remake of Paper Mario Thousand Year Door with some pretty nice quality of life changes, I'm kind of hoping that they remake Paper Mario 64 using the same engine as the Thousand Year Door remake. But if it didn't include anything TTYD brought to the table, then I might be inclined to say that no matter how graphically superior it might be, this mod might still be my preferred way to play 64. I'm not going to mention every new area and or secret in this mod, because some of it is worth finding and discovering for yourself, but there is a lot of stuff, even on the normal difficulty setting. There's probably a lot more about this mod that I haven't told you, because I genuinely don't know. There's so much here, so go play it.